Hi, today we're going to be talking about the top violin cases for travel. This is a question we get quite often at greatviolincases.com. So we figure we make a presentation just to kind of share the top four violin cases that we highly recommend when people ask us what type of case is best for air travel. But before we get into that, let's first take a look at what qualifies a case for traveling. We definitely want the case to be light, especially if you're going to be moving around a lot. You do want a case that is light on your shoulders. We do want the case to be compact because actually violin cases do exceed carry-on luggage regulations. Pretty much all of them do because the bow itself exceeds the longest length that is allowed as carry-on. However, a lot of airlines, especially like the major airlines, they're actually quite lenient when it comes to instruments, especially violins. Obviously, cellos, that's a different story. But especially with violins, if you just let them know, like, it is a old antique wooden instrument that really shouldn't be going under the plane, the flight attendants will definitely understand. But again, compact is just so that you don't attract too much attention, such as an oblong case would. You definitely want it to be protective as you kind of carry it across like different places. And temperature resistant is also very important because as you're traveling, you might be going from a very hot climate to a cold climate or from dry to humid. You want to make sure you get a case that isn't too affected by these weather changes. And just a very quick tip. We generally suggest musicians, don't be the last one to board the plane. Don't wait till the very end. Try to be, ahead of the line when it's time to board, because it does happen where, cabin space fills up, and flight attendants start asking people, at random to uh, check in their luggages. Now, if you're kind of at the end of the line, it may not be a choice anymore. So you definitely don't want that to happen to you. So we always suggest, be there on time, be the first in line, just to make sure that you won't be asked to put your case under the plane. So the first one we're going to look at is the Bam Hightech Cabin violin case, and as the name suggests, it is designed for travel. Now the case itself cannot fit a bow. It comes with a bow tube. So the idea is you can put the bow tube, you can check in the bow tube. Since the bow isn't as affected when it's being tossed around and stuff, it's the violin you want to be a lot more careful about. So the way this case is designed, it only fits the violin, and it can even pass, like say for example, the European budget airlines that are known to be very strict with carry-on sizes. This one will fit their dimensions. So this case is extremely popular among traveling musicians, especially ones who travel on like budget airlines. The case itself is only 2.6 pounds, so it's extremely light. It's about as light as it gets for a violin case. It is a high-tech case. It is not carbon fiber. So it's basically almost as strong as carbon fiber, but it's not as affected by like cold and hot climates as carbon fiber metal would. So this is definitely a great case for traveling musicians. However, if you're not traveling that much on budget airlines, just once in a while, and you're flying to major airlines, Southwest, United, you don't necessarily have to get this case, just because again, there's no space for a bow. So when you're going to rehearsals and stuff, it's a whole new thing to kind of get used to. Make sure you don't forget your bow tube for your more like day-to-day use. So that brings us to the Gewa Air 1.7 violin cases. If you're not traveling like European budget airlines all the time and you're not too worried about carry-on regulations, you mainly fly like major airlines, and you just want a standard case where you can still put the bow inside the case, we highly recommend the Gewa Air violin cases. They're very durable. They're made in Germany. They're also made of like these thermoplastic shells. Again, so it's not like carbon fiber or certain metals that would absorb the heat or absorb the cold. So they're definitely a great option for traveling musicians as well. Next on the list, surprisingly, are Bowblock cases. Now, why are these cases recommended for travel? Well, you still get like the compact size. You can still get the contoured case. They're really strong. They're kind of known to, be able to take a beating. They already come with a travel cover, which is great. The only downside is that they are heavy. So these cases generally weigh about 8 to 9 pounds. However, if you're someone who doesn't mind the weight, like, 9 pounds doesn't really matter to you too much. Then this is still a great option because it's a lot more affordable compared to the Bam Hightech cases, which are 500 something dollars, or the Gewa Air cases that are also around close to $500. Whereas the Bowblock cases, you'll generally find them under 300, kind of mid 200 range. So that's where you would sacrifice the weight, but it's a lot more affordable too. Last but not least, we have the Superlight contoured violin cases, and the brand is actually called Superlight. They're from Japan. They're very lightweight cases. They're only 3.3 pounds. So these are more like foam cases. Again, better in climates, changing climates compared to metallic cases. However, they're definitely not as protective as the cases you've seen previously. So you get an extremely light case, but you definitely don't want to be throwing this case off of like two-story windows or anything. Um, but if you're generally careful with your case, your instrument, you're not the type that'll, be throwing your case around or something like that. The Superlight is a great option for traveling musicians who are looking for just the lightest case they can at a more affordable price. And yeah, that's it. So these are the four we recommend. Now, obviously, different musicians, different violinists, they have different needs. Feel free to visit greatviolincases.com. We have a chat, we have a survey. You can email us directly at info@greatviolincases.com. We love answering questions. Just let us know, and we'd love to help.